wouldn't say that I am, just being ignorant. When I make criticisms of people, sometimes I do just sort of, almost like I confront people with certain direct issues recently. I may have come across it may have come across as an act of aggression. It may have come across as an act of aggression with an underlying psychological disorder. Yeah, let's say it like that. I didn't mean to kind of confront people in that way, but I just wanted to just basically elicit that language is very, very limited. It doesn't matter if it's English language or Chinese language or Russian language or Spanish or South American languages, Indian languages, African languages, whatever language. It's still limited, and things can easily because language is kind of it has a two-step kind of, it has two different systems of cause and effect that it has to get through before you actually can understand that. So there is a barrier between us. We have our core understanding here, what we actually intend, and then but before that, when it is received in language, it's going to create association, and that's why our brain easily end up associating a language that you heard from someone with something bad when they didn't mean it, And so there is a way to communicate on a deeper, on a more direct level, because mostly you're listening, you're receiving my information mostly from what you are hearing. It's basically the hearing. Hearing is number one, probably 80% or 70 to 80% of of me, of what you're listening to right now, and what you're perceiving. Most of that is your hearing, and then it's your sight. So you're going to base your judgment in that order. First, you're going to consider what you heard, then you're going to consider what you saw, and that's been proven. That you've seen those tests where they just have a random group of people sort of dancing, and it's filmed on the street, and then a guy walks past in a gorilla outfit and sort of tries to distract the viewer, jumps in front of the camera like that. But the people that are watching that video, they're just asked to define certain features of the video that were unrelated to the why and the what and the how and the where and the WTF of the guy in the gorilla thing. And they were asked, did you see a guy in a gorilla? Did you see a gorilla? And they said no, they didn't see a gorilla, because that was, or a lot of them, sorry, it was not 100%. Some people sure would have seen it. But so that shows that, first it's the hearing that will make a judgment, and then it's the sight. So basically that means that before we are even considering someone's body language, like if they're going like this, or if they sort of like that, or maybe they're like that, or they start looking at you like that, or maybe they go like that, like that, or like that. And there's different facial expressions. But did you know most of what your brain is processing right now is coming from what you're hearing, from what my words that are coming out of my mouth. And then, after that, then you are considering my body language. Am I down here like this and talking? Am I up here like this? Am I just relaxed and neutral? And just neutral expression on my face. See, if I just have a totally neutral and centered, balanced attitude, spirit, then I become difficult to. How can your brain even decide? Because you're hearing the words coming out of my mouth, but if I start to slow down the words coming out of my mouth, and if I speak very slowly, then you might not consider what I'm saying. Yeah. So then it all changes, the way you processing it changes. Your mind gets confused because those two start to come together, because your brain can't process enough information from the hearing, and it can't quite understand what's going on in the sight. It can't associate them, and when they come together like that, then that's when we can communicate through another channel. And those channels also, exist between our mind. And some people, they can just feel it from the Baihoi area, and they can exchange some emotion like that. Or you can also use the Lao Gong point, and you can put your hand here like that. Generally, we need eye contact. That's the only thing, if possible. So relax the eyes, eye contact with me, and hand. Now look at my face. What expressions do you see? Okay, now I'll look at your face and see what expression is on your face while I relax my face and I center my awareness and I take my mind I take my awareness out of the intellectualizing processes of my brain. So my brain is not intellectualizing and making weird associations with different facial expressions that I see. I'm lowering it down to that point. And now I try to suspend my judgment. First is cognitive suspension, and then second is suspension of judgment. So your mind is not making no judgment at all. And then we make energy contact. You put your hand here like this, opposite to my one. And then first you need to have some basic feeling of the chi. If you can start to feel that magnetic field between your palms, and the thing is, all the joints have to be open. Everything has to be open to do that. But open, there will always be a inflation of a kind of a ball beneath each joint. So that if you just work from the inflation of each ball beneath each joint, then it will expand. It will start to learn how to expand in the right proportions. Because the thing is, everything is proportional. Every joint is proportional. But when you learn Tai Chi or you learn Qigong, then they just say, expand and like you're holding a beach ball. And then you think beach ball, but a beach ball is 360 degrees, perfect, but your arm has different proportions, So basically there's a beach ball within every single joint, not just one beach ball here, but also one boom, 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 one here, collarbone, 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 up in the neck, all of the vertebrae up here to the Baihoi. So you have to learn how to inflate the Lao Gong area, so that will inflate the field outside. So now we can feel the influence of the field outside, and I can feel it like there's a magnetic energy, almost like I have a balloon and I'm kind of push the balloon and I can feel the balloon resisting and springing my hands back. So now if you can feel that with your own hands, and then you can start to differentiate the different feelings, hot and cold. Where is the hot part of the field? Where is the cold part of the field? Okay, and then there's other things that can come into that, other parts that can connect with different emotions and feelings, and also some meaning you can convey to the other person. So when both people can distinguish those different meanings for different things, basically you can you have another medium of communication where you can send and receive quite elaborate information. Actually, you'd be surprised how much you can communicate with this method. So we relax, you put your Lao Gong point over my one, probably about half a foot. Let the energy inflate each node, each joint. And then your hand over my hand, eyes looking at each other, relaxed. The most important ball that you need to inflate in the body to maintain the structure, one of the most important ones is in here. So it's the dantian, has to kind of expand. And when that happens, this mingmen area of the back, normally it's flat like that, but you'll feel a balloon pushing it out from the inside, and the balloon is kind of pushing it out that way and flattening it there. And that's all the sinking and the rising and the rotating, the different angles that those two spheres, it's like two balloons are on top of each other, and there's a certain angle at which you have to balance them, and then you need to be very sensitive to balance all those balloons that are stacked on top of each other. And that's what these different segments are. Here we have a segment here, and a segment here, and a segment here. Within that we have the tendon sheaths. You've got the thick tendon at one end, and then as it opens up, then it has individual sheaths that go over different muscles, and inside those sheaths there's bundles of muscle fibers and stuff like that. But what you have is you have a kind of a sheath like that, and another sheath over there, and then another sheath that wraps all the other sheaths together. And those sheaths can be very, very springy. They're also dielectric, which means they store electrostatic charge. And electrostatic charge, as you know, when it builds up, it develops an electrostatic field outside of it that basically is either more like expansion dominant or contraction dominant. And when you have two opposite polarities, they will come together. When you have two like polarities, they will not come together. There will be a force between them, pushing them apart again. And those fields are charged up into all the tendons. So when you know how to stack them, and you're using the core muscle groups to basically keep those balloons on top of each other. And when the balloons are all on top of each other, then that's what happens. We say the body starts to float. That's how the floating body Qigong works. That you've stacked all of those balloons on top of each other, and then you can start to feel the springiness between all of them.
Mm-hmm.